our consciousness, it will empower our intelligence, and as Krishna says, Tesham Satata Yuktanam. If we try to serve, he gives the intelligence. And that's a very special thing because it's personal. It's not the same. There's a general aspects which are always the same for all devotees, but then everything is personal. As Maharaj said, that triangle, it goes from the general to the specific instructions given to each and every one of us by our spiritual masters in order to advance in devotional service. So this is really important. And one of the key points here is we're trying to instruct the mind. Our job is to engage that mind in such a way that it becomes favourable to our devotional service. And that's the point. Mana, Shiksha. Mana means mind, Shiksha means instructions too. So our process is to purify the mind, right? So Cheto, Darpana, Marjanam. And one way to do that is to instruct the mind. Now linking to that, it says strives to understand all of their meanings completely. So this is not a superficial point where we hear the class and go home, but it's meant to, good hearing invokes reflection. Good hearing is like, okay, I've heard it. What does that mean? How does that apply to me? How can I put this, as Maharaj said, put this into practice? In the book, when Maharaj was giving out these books yesterday, he told me that the prayers, because there's pastimes of Lord Gauranga, the daily pastimes, and Maharaj was sharing how he recites or reads those daily pastimes in the morning of Lord Gauranga, and in the evening of Radha and Krishna. Is that what you said? Yeah. And so this is a really key point. What tends to happen in devotional life is that we will read something and then life goes on. Now, there's a lot that's in the scriptures, but what we want to do is try and take something and apply it. It's really the application of the teaching that transforms us. So the instruction is there, and when we fulfill the instruction, we receive something. As we said in the previous class, for the pure devotee, their Vani carries the rays of the Ladini Shakti. Yeah? So you are able to accumulate those blessings by following those particular instructions which cause us to become empowered. So this is a really key point. So we're trying to follow. Try to understand all their meanings. And when we do that, it says here we obtain the incomparable jewel. That's a very important point. Incomparable. The more we understand the teachings, the more we realize that what we're being offered is something that's completely beyond anything the material world can give us. Incomparable jewel. And it's interesting because it's not even incomparable just in relation to the material world. It's incomparable even in relationship to the different kinds of prema in different places in the spiritual world. So the prema in Vrindavan is incomparable compared to the prema in Vaikuntha. So what's happened is, Patita Bhavana Hetutava Avatar, most no Patita Prabhu Napaya Vyara. The point is that in Kali Yuga, those who are the least qualified are being offered the highest thing. That's actually what's going on in reality. The least qualified in Kali Yuga, it's the most fallen age, and at the same time, we're being offered something that those in other ages weren't given access to. Right? So it's not just love of God, it's love of God, and this is what Raghunath Das Goswami is really emphasizing. It's the love of God in Vrindavan. And it's the actually highest possible experience of love of God. And then within the 4 rasas there, or 5 rasas there, it's the highest yellow of love within, or relationship within those 5 rasas. The highest in the highest realm. And that's what we're being offered. So if we meditate on that, then you can understand, when we meditate on something that we think and we understand its value, it changes our behavior towards it. If I give you something, and I tell you that it's actually just cut glass, it looks like a diamond, but it's cut glass. If you lose it, it's not a big deal. But if I give you something that looks similar, and I tell you this is actually a real diamond, it's worth, millions, it suddenly changes the way that we deal with it. So one of the things that we can do is we can understand how much we've really accepted the teaching, and we can understand how much we've understood what's being offered to us by how we carry out our devotional lives and our devotional service. And then the emphasis of the Maharaja Jan also trying to invite more by how we chant and how we give our focus to cultivating the chanting of the holy names. That's actually a sign that we've really understood what's being made available to us by Raghunath Das Goswami, Rupa Goswami, the Lord Chaitanya, ultimately Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you. That was a beautiful summation and right to the point where by following this, and also you may select something that attracts you the most, or something you think that is the most helpful in your Krishna consciousness, and apply it. And then after application comes realization. And after realization comes qualities. You start developing spiritual characteristics and qualities. You start manifesting in your activities and your speech, everything. So yeah, it's a very essential principle that what this seminar really is about to produce is that an upgrade in our spiritual life, a big one. And I want to read another Stuti. We all receive this as a gift. Now there's three sections of prayers. Prayers to the spiritual master, and then the Astakali Leela of Radha and Krishna is at the end, and in the middle the Astakali Leela of Lord Chaitanya, which means the activities they perform. So each page has a particular summation according to the particular time of the day that Lord Chaitanya is performing a particular activity. Now I just wanted to read the Stuti for Lord Chaitanya. Listen to this. Sri Gauranga, the moon of Mayapur, is eternally present in his own abode during the 8 periods of the day. To walk the trouble-free path of Manasa Seva, that means service in the mind, one should meditate on his wondrous pastimes before remembering those of Radha Krishna in Goku. If one lovingly reads or recites this Mangala Stotra, whose verses illuminate the supreme truth, then the Lord becomes extremely pleased with that person. So here's the main point. If one lovingly recites these verses, then the Lord becomes extremely pleased. Then, this is what happens. Unleashing his merciful compassion, endless and pristine, the reader will find himself a fortunate receptacle of the same divine bliss that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu carries in his heart. Wow. Think about that. This is not some, exaggeration to get you to read it. So by reading this about Gauranga Mahaprabhu, his 8 activities through the 8 parts of the day, and doing it in a loving way, reciting the verses, then actually one becomes fortunate to receive the same loving mercy that's in the heart of Lord Chaitanya. So you just do it, let you, the little nectar that you have received yesterday is a gift. It's more than just a book. It's a way to the spiritual life. This is very powerful. And then the second half is Krishna's and Radharani's 8 pastimes. Okay, so we can open it up for questions. Yeah, sure.
So I just want to address one other thing very quickly. In terms of echoing what Mark said about this is an opportunity to upgrade. The upgrade looks different for everyone. I know that sometimes people come to retreats and it can feel like, there's so many things I need to change. I get it, And at the same time, I know that people have so many responsibilities in their day-to-day life. What we're trying to do is see, where can we make that difference? Where can we start with something, take something away that we can practically apply in our lives. And what will happen is it will expand. Right? So what tends to happen in retreats is people try and change everything, nothing changes. Because they feel overloaded. But try and find something that you can take away and think, right, this is something I'm actually going to apply. It could be reading, it could be let's focus on our chanting, let's give some quality time to our chanting. But do that and also try to do it with heart. Because it's an offering to Krishna. Try and do it with devotion. And that will really take us forward. And that's the move. We want to do the service, do it sincerely and put some heart into it. I want to do this for Krishna, I want to do this for Prabhupada. Because we need to carry, as Rupa Goswami says, this utsaham. We need to engage in devotional service with enthusiasm. And that will give us momentum and motivation and inspiration to keep going.
And you gain satisfaction. When you act in the way that was described, in a loving way with devotion, there's a sense of satisfaction that pervades your whole being. It comes automatically, because you're actually right in the right mood. Okay, so we also relegated part of this presentation to Q&A. So anyone would like to ask a question? And
thank you so much, Prabhu. I have a question from yesterday's discussion. We were talking about the Swarup, and maybe spiritual master introduce us and take us to show us that way path. I wanted to ask, does the initiation process, the name of the devotee get involved in, because this is something Krishna is speaking from spiritual master's heart. So is this something that is the beginning of your Swarup? Is this what the Swarup you take in the spiritual world whenever, how many lifetimes you go back?
during your time of initiation?
Yes, the name you get from the initiation.
Does that mean there's some connection?
Yes.
May or not, may or not. It's not an absolute principle. It may be and may not be. I mean, I know some spiritual masters, they just check the first letter and give the name accordingly. Not that I'm any better, but I try to understand the nature of the person, their characteristics, their personalities, something that's outstanding, and try to give the name accordingly. So, and I know other spiritual masters do the same. But others, sometimes they do 400 or 500 people at a time. So it's pretty hard to really analyze and evaluate each person and give a name accordingly. So, yeah. So you might say, in some cases, yes, some cases, no.
Just for one more small question there. Can I ask?
Yeah. With Bhavana, will take that one. I want to get off the hot seat.
So Prabhu, we have been talking so much about the association, and so many times I think that, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned about Bhajananandi and Goshanandis, and maybe in ISKCON mainly we are busy, we have our sadhana routine and we have preaching and then temple services and everything else, and sometimes it feels like we need to have some me time as well. So what percentage we should give to as me time where we develop internally and we can focus on our...
I was just talking to, I will mention someone who's here, and they were telling me about their spiritual master, who once a year for 1 month, he goes into seclusion and they lock the door from the outside so nobody even knows he's in there. And for 1 month, he does his internal bhajan, rests, prepares himself for whatever's up there. And he knows by experience this is necessary in order to stay fresh in his Krishna consciousness. So I think in general it's necessary to take a little back, especially for those who travel and teach, and go more internally. And also maybe plan what they're going to be doing in the upcoming months. All of these things that are essential for the overall well-being of the devotee and for the quality of his preaching. Yeah. We used to think we have to do as much as we can in whatever little time we have. But when you do that, the next day you realize it's like I went to Hyderabad many years ago, and there were 7 programs in one day. 7. The next day, I was still trying to get back to human life. It was really, I couldn't do anything the next day. It was just, So, I mean, Prabhupada also shot that idea down. You should try to keep the pace rather than just explode and then implode. So, the downside is people don't understand. And they just keep wanting to ask you to do more and more and more. So. And you want to satisfy the devotees, you want to you want to continue, but it's just not practical. And that internal mood is necessary to reflect on how I want to worship the Lord in a particular way. And then we read books that sort of indicate the direction we want to go. And we hear lectures on the topics that we want to really imbibe more and more.
Is it okay if I just add something to that?
Yeah.
So just also expand the first one, it's a beautiful point. And just to expand on that, you could also look at it in terms of if it's overactive, it tends to create the symptoms of mode of passion. You see, and then people feel agitated and frustrated. So what we're trying to do is, as Maharaj mentioned before, is we were trying to practice devotional service also in a healthy way that's sustainable. So what they found is, if you have time to reflect, actually the quality of what you deliver is also better, because we're not burnt out, we're not back to back, we're not exhausted. The difficulty that happens for many devotees is, if we don't practice devotional service properly, then all the negative qualities, we think it's because of devotional service. We don't realize, no, it's the way I do it. I don't take that balanced approach that Maharaj says, and therefore I'm feeling it's a burden. It's actually no, it's just the way you practice devotional service should be in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you can't always control that. So sometimes you also have to adjust. But going internally is also part of the, you can see the Goswamis also did that. Although they wrote so many books and even initiated the building of temples, still they were very internal in their devotion. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have another question? Anyone from the men's side? Yeah, we can go back and forth, one maybe. One more question only. Sri Devi is already jumping up and down. Okay. I'm sorry. You aren't jumping too high.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj and Bhuta Bhavana Prabhu, for this really, unsettling seminar. At the same time enlightening and illuminating. So my mind still goes back to verse 1, where in the very first or second line it says, having given up all pride, one is then asked to develop unprecedented and excessive love for Sri Guru, Sri Vrindavan, etc. So the very first thing, having given up all pride, I'm thinking to myself that what are the practical things that I can do to overcome this tendency towards pride.
Don't take credit for anything you do. You just pass on the credit to those who are such as spiritual master, the assembly of the Vaishnavas, the Lord himself. And you might say also that I've been blessed to be able to do this by the mercy of these personalities. If you take credit, then there's that pride. Even if you do it in your mind, you don't speak still. You take credit. And I think Bhuta Bhavana explained that in his lecture, that there are 5 factors of action. And the living entity, Jiva, us, we're only 1/5 of the activity. So there's 4 other factors that are required for the activity to be completed. And the most important is the mercy of Krishna, which comes through the mercy of the devotees. Krishna gives his mercy. That's why we come together, because we can get Krishna's mercy through the other devotees. We don't always have to go directly to Krishna, ask for mercy. Krishna's mercy is sadhu-sangha. And, of course, Guru. So, if you look at it from a practical point, even philosophical, we hardly do anything, but we think we're the doers. That's why that verse, Prakriti Kriya Mani Gori Karma Sadhya Ahankara Prabhupada said, Krishna wants, you can't even move your finger. But he doesn't do that. That's not the way he acts. But if you become overly attached to the results of your activity and take credit, you might find yourself in a very awkward situation as a means for purification. So you want to avoid that.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Okay, so Eka Chakra is very clear that this is the time we should end. So the devotees can not have to rush to prasadam, take nice prasadam, which is important, that we take prasadam in a proper mood and also have sufficient time to get ready for the bus leaves sharp at 10:30.
Hare Krishna everyone. Sorry you're stuck with me for the last set of announcements. Did you enjoy the retreat? But do you feel greedy for more mercy? So we have a surprise for you. So Maharaj has given us a lot of mercy, and this year we are doing a yatra to Ujjain and Govardhan Eco Village from the 14th to the 30th of September, where we'll be in Ujjain taking part in the Srila Prabhupada Festival, the Vyasa Puja of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami, Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja as well, a short 3-day Ujjain yatra where Maharaj will be taking us to holy places in Ujjain, followed by GV for Easter week. So 2.5 weeks of mercy. Are you ready for it?
Ujjain is one of the 4 main holy places where the Kumbh Mela happens. So it's loaded with holy places. It's where Krishna and Balaram went to school. The ashram of Sandipani Muni is there. And there are many pastimes connected with Krishna. And also, those of you who are slightly on the Shivite side, Lord Shiva is big there, Mahakala. And I mean, to go there, the devotees go to this place, which is not far. They have a beautiful, beautiful Abhishek of Lord Shiva, and they have a whole, what we call festival ground, with huge dioramas and big statues, you might say, of the acharyas and others. So it's a whirlpool of transcendental mercy there. It's just and the Ujjain temple that Bhakti Maharaj set up is the most amazing. And those of you who want to take care of your health, there's a wonderful Ayurvedic hospital there, and the doctor is highly qualified. So you can also combine that with the ashram, get some insight on how you can improve your health, or maybe even take some treatments. So that could be also part of the ashram. So, okay.
Thank you. So the schedule now, we'll be heading to breakfast. So sorry to rush, but you'll have to take your prashadam quickly, pack your bags. Most of you are in the guest house, so bring your bags down. For 10:30, no later, the coaches have probably already arrived and you can start loading them. There are 2 coaches. One is going to the airport and one is going to the Paris temple. Shri Krishna Chaitanya will be coordinating, so make sure you get your luggage on the right coach. But yeah, hopefully it'll be fine. Then the coach will come to the front of the castle. We'll load a few more things, your prashadam as well, your packed lunches as well, and then you can make your way. The coach to the airport does need to leave on time, so please don't be late because of the timings of the flights. So yeah, we just want to end now with thanking everyone. So we want to thank the speakers, Maharaja and Bhuta, and Prabhu. Big Haribol. We have a small donation on behalf of the whole group, and we'll ask Candramauli and Prabhu to present that to them. Retreat can't really happen without a lot of efforts from a lot of people. So we're going to thank the cooks who've been cooking for Maharaj. We have Ananda Vrindavan, Satyabhama, Janava Sundari, Brajavilasini, Achyuta Priya Vrinda, Sukava, and probably others that I don't know about, and Kishori Vallabha Mataji's, all of them overseeing it as well. So a big haribol for them. Lots of people running around serving Maharaj. I don't even know who that was, but all of you, thank you very much for facilitating Maharaj and making me feel comfortable.
Last but not least, everything came together because of Ekachakras. Almost a year putting it together, organizing it, and working with the people here to make sure everything is, to make it happen. She did so much work, and I bothered her so many times. I mean, she was always available, and she was always thinking how to make it more, sending out notices, encouraging devotees, working with the people here, strategizing all of the transport. She did everything.
Well, thank you for that.
Whatever she says about being humble, don't listen.
We want to thank Achyuta Priya Vrinda and Revati Mataji for overseeing the book table. Our amazing MCs, give them a round of applause.
She was like, what do they call it? Toastmaster General Exemplar. She was really good. And her partner, Candramauli, with his humor. Which was very much welcome. We need that. Thank you.
Maharaja, I have one suggestion. Before everyone leaves, can you just make a photo, collective photo around Prabhupada?
I also want to thank Raj Krishna Prabhu. He wrote me, I haven't heard from him in like 10 years, and then he wrote me a letter about a month before this one. Just to touch base and find out what I wrote, where I was. He sent me some pictures of what he was doing and preaching. So then I thought, it'd be nice if he comes. So we arranged it, and he agreed to come. And then we didn't have anybody to do the yajna. We were trying to find a yajna person. And only the other yajna persons were going to come. But they wanted like some money for their work and all the transportation. But since he was coming, I said, yeah, I can do it. He left for 4 nights in those powerful and very beautiful kirtans. very much grateful.
We're all grateful. Yes.
Raja Krishna Prabhu was there for the very first disciples meeting in Zagreb 10 years ago. He was there for the very first disciples meeting in Zagreb.
10 years ago.
Yeah. 10 or 12, I don't remember the exact number. But he was there. I remember him.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you for remembering him.
Because he's Bhakti Tirtha Maharaja's disciple.
He's an amazing preacher. We didn't give him a chance to speak, but he has a following. He's been preaching in different places in South Africa and some devotees were crying. I almost did, but he ended the play before it happened. So it was really good. And well, I mean, how you put your whole concentration and qualities into those songs. You took us right into
We want to thank the retreat team. So in the background there was a lot of work happening. So Kishori Vallabha, Nishingalila, Kiran Prabhu, Achyuta Priyavrina and Shamla Prabhu. So big high applause for the whole a big thank you to all of you for coming. It really pleases Maharaj that disciples come together for this annual retreat. It's so important for him. I can't express, like he's always saying he really wants the disciples to come. So thank you for making the endeavor and the sacrifice.
It's written in stone.
It's an instruction.
I used to say, whatever you want to do during the year, that's your business. Come to the retreat. You can see what the benefit is. Those of you who took part today understand how important it is. It really energizes our bhakti. And what the most important thing is we connect with other devotees in a very personal and very loving way. That's the main thing. I also want to thank Maharaja for coming. He's a preacher and he's also a wonderful disciple of Bhakti Tirtha Swami. He's been engaged in devotional service for more than 30 years now. And travels, preaches, and he came and his own will just to be with all of us. And by coming, he really inspired us in so many ways. Thank you.
After the kirtan ended, Maharaj Prabhu was sharing something really nice, where he said that the God family of Bhakti Tirtha Swami is very intimate and close, and he's not seen that anywhere until he came here. And he said, I can see this God family is very much the same. And so thank you everyone for making that happen. Because you come on these retreats, we bond together, we're nourished by the transcendental knowledge. So thank you everyone. finally, I want to thank new Mayapur devotees because they worked really hard to make this happen. We haven't been easy with them, been very demanding, but they have been extremely, extremely helpful. I know there are a few glitches along the way, but they are short on manpower and they've tried their absolute best, and we're so, so grateful for them to host us. I want to invite them over to say a few words. But we can have a big round of applause and a Haribol. And Dr. Mafuji, who's the wife of Lochana.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Bhuta, Bhavana, Prabhu, for being here. Thank you, all of you. We are so grateful that we get together and we get to nourish. Always it's enlivening to see devotees come together, dance, feast. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Can you all stay back? I mentioned it once. The last time I was here with a group, they put up the gate so we couldn't get out. I'm afraid that might happen again. So we have something that we can allure you with. Janananda Maharaj want to come back this evening, 7 p.m. So we can continue the Kirtan Maharaj. Two Swamis dancing together, they're like the best in ISKCON. So these Kirtan men, personified. So yeah, we're very grateful that, and we hope that you all come back very soon.
Krishna said to you, come back. Honey's better than money. You take some honey and you'll feel like a little rabbit bunny.
Yes, we gave something yesterday. And the lady who sells the soap, who was selling outside, she was an atheist before she came. I went to her and I said, I want to give something to Maharaj. What can I give? She said, please give this soap as a gift for Maharaj. So she didn't even charge for this soap. Hope that she will become a devotee once Maharaj starts taking shower. She became like a believer of God now. She says Haribol every time she sees her. That's what these retreats bring to us, that it's amazing to see like so many of us come together and it's like nourishes each other, brings new people into Krishna consciousness, especially sadhus like Maharaj. It's like, really refined energy, or I don't know how to describe it, but we would like you to come back, that's what I can say. Thank you, Maharaj.
I think we were already talking about next year. Let's see what the Supreme Lord will let me say.
We'll start over the podcast. We already started.
I had enough hot water for everybody. My water was so hot they couldn't find the cold water.
Also, I guess. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Our last names? No, Namacharya. This is Maharaja. I want to thank you. We took all the devotees on the cart rides with the bullocks. Thank you very much for serving the devotees nicely.
Next time when you come, you'll not be so busy scheduled, and I can take a curriculum with you as well around property to show you my Thanks very much. Just to let you know, Namacharya Prabhu was the head pujari and co-president. Jananand Maharaj asked me, can you look after the cows? We had nobody to look after the cows. So since then, he dropped the deities. Now his full-time service is cows.
That's higher.
Thank you. And he chants 32 rounds just to let you know why he got the name Namacharya. He chants 32 rounds every day.
Announcement. I don't think they're here, but I think we should still appreciate them. How was pizza night? Oh, good. So we really want to thank Sasha Prabhu and Abhijit and Nithya Prabhu for their hard work. It looks like they just made pizza, but like they didn't know about the facilities there. They spent like a day cleaning that place up so they could use it. They brought all the ingredients over from Croatia. They worked so hard to make everything and then cleared up afterwards. Simply to please Maharaj, who told them like a week ago that he wanted pizza all in the days. So big round of applause for everyone. That's all.
So time is essential. Take nice prasadam and then 2 buses. One for the Paris Temple and one for the airport. How many are going to the airport? Only a few. Okay.
Remember the picture.
Let's do the picture outside by the bus when we have more room. When we do it outside, after everyone's packed and ready to go. I think it would be better then. It's a little hard to make a picture here because it's so tight.
Next one, what time?
If you're in the guest house, 10:30.